Hello, Imperial Scout Trooper. How you doing? So what am I doing today? What are we doing today? Well, those of you that have ever seen this particular fighter, if y'all have seen this build in Space Engineers, you'll know what this is immediately just by the silhouette. This, and for some of y'all that are Stargate fans, are sitting there going, "Oh wait, that looks like a really good version of the F-302." It is. I built this one a couple years back. Did a video on it. Reviewing it. And this is back when I first really started building stuff on Space Engineers. And there's a lot of blocks that we've had now that could really improve this. There's a lot of things that have been upgraded. We have new weapons. We have new equipment. This was done, I want to say, before the new warfare update, and it was done right when we got the panels update. It's either Warfare 1 or 2 is when this thing was done because it was right before warfare, I want to say that. And there are lots of things that could be fixed upon this. That's what we're doing in this live stream today because um, new updates have happened, new possibilities have come up, and with both contacts and the new what is it, experimentation, scientific exploration, whatever it is, I forgot the name of it right now. My memory is not that good with stuff like that, so please forgive me. We now have the ability to put newer, fancier stuff on. So I want to take this and improve upon it, make it better. So we're going to do a complete rebuild. We're not going to go all this. Also, I have done some work rebuilding fighters just to show y'all the absolute latest fighter that I've ever built. It would be this one, and that would be the Saber. Now, the Saber, you'll notice, is a whole lot. It's about the same size, but I promise you the Saber is a lot more nimble. And I mean, vastly superior in terms of speed and maneuverability. But if you look at it, you'll see that there is a decent silhouette difference. This I want to make more of a grand fighter, more like your mainline hard hitter. And the Saber is going to be our tiny little interceptor that goes in. I may do some upgrades to the interceptor. I may actually, of the Saber, I may actually pull this a little bit more and make it stream in a bit, do a few upgrades. I don't know if I can't remember if I published the Saber or not, but I will publish. There is a better version of this that Dog got a hold of. He redesigned the back end of it, and I'm not sure. We may do a couple of small upgrades to the Saber. One of the issues with these fighters, when you make fighters that look really good like this, you do like these small subgrid systems. So, like with the Saber here, for instance, if I hop in here and we'll pull up the tab button, and I'll pull back and let y'all see this in the light. I have a thing on here where well, it should. Man, it's not doing it. Oh, wait, yeah, there's no power. So you see when I push Y, oh, not Y. What am I doing here? 5. That's what I was doing. You see we've got these panel wings come out, and these were decorations at first. But then uh, I was playing with this against another one of the NPC ships that we've got now, and a round hit this wing and just ricocheted off of it. And like, this makes a pretty good defensive shield. Also, for an interceptor, it has the semi gimbal guns on the side, so these guns will actually turn and kind of point in. I do want to see at some point what the damage would be if I were to go in and give them a little bit more turn capability, meaning as this thing locks in, both those turrets would then lock and they'd have a little bit of elevation to them at some point. We may do that eventually. We may do that eventually. Just to make sure y'all can hear me, I hope. Let me pull this up. Yep, there we go. You can hear me in the background. I'm watching this on my phone at the same time because I don't know how to do the double overlay without the system pulling everything up. But the issues with this F-302 is when I built it, I was like, yeah, there's no such thing as too many subgrids. I had a lot of subgrid issues. I also learned how to do subgrids better. So like with this, I just added a bunch of hinges and this created, I thought, more hinges equals more stability. Nah, no, no, no. More hinges equals more clang. Okay, and we want as little clang as possible. And this thing does clang every so often. So I want to modify that. There's also blocks here that I can create better looks to the front of this. I can actually curve this in a bit. There were things that I didn't do on the front section of this ship because that affected the shape of it. And there's also where the gun placement is. So we've got 2 guns down here. I'd like to beef this up to 4 guns underneath. And if possible, I would like to put a gun up here somewhere so that we can, so when we're going in, we've got multiple cannons just firing like mad and make this even more of a better looking F-302. So then we would have, as we're doing like Triple R is doing the pirate stuff, then probably give it this look right here. Probably something similar to the, oh, what is the pirate faction? What is the F4 Tomcats? The Buccaneers, I think is what they are, or something to that effect. But yeah, we'll do that. And there's other couple things with this, like this is actually heavy armor here in the front. So first things first, we got to power up and get the entire system ready. So for those of y'all hearing that crisp sound, as the sound of fresh Dr. Pepper being popped, so that Dr. Pepper can support us. They are not an official sponsor, but they are supporting us in liquid caffeine. So enjoying that right now. So for the F-302, before we get started, and I always recommend this for anyone who is going to do creative, we need to clear our entire tab board. Now, what I'm going to do when I am doing this in creative, I will take and set up all the blocks up here that I'm going to need. I'll have one set of armor blocks and a second set. If I am doing survival, I will set all of my armor blocks to 9 down here. I'll set it to 9. And I'll put all the armor blocks I want to use in that first toolbar. So that way I have other components here. One is always where my welders, my grinder, and my drill is at. But then while I'm doing the welder and drilling, it's just faster to swap between 9 and 1. And I'll do a whole video explaining how I set up my build stuff for survival at some point in time. So you guys will love that. But for right now, we don't need that. We don't need a welder. We're just gonna put all the lightweight blocks here. Anything we might want. We're also gonna put this in here and that one. And then swapping over to the next one. Actually, no, I'm going to use 9 for the heavy blocks. Because this ship is going to come with a bit of armor. And let's see. What do I get with truss blocks? Only a few small things. We may throw the truss box in there. So we've got all that. Now for the next part, we're going to need cockpit. We're going to need thrusters. We're not going to be using all the thrusters that I've used before. And I'm going to mitigate a lot of things. For one thing, a fighter does not, unless you are going long distance, and I'm going to eventually build a long distance kind of stealth ship that can slip in, have a lot of electronic countermeasures and communications equipment. Something that has a lot of communication equipment and just very minimal weapons. Probably like 1 Gatling gun, maybe, and the ability to carry missiles. But for something like the F-302 is going to be more of a direct line combat fighter. We're not going to have any turret control systems. We are going to have a few hinges, but I'm going to put those on later. what I'm wanting to put on here, we are going to need tanks. We're going to need small conveyors. I know that. We are also going to need connectors. And thanks to the connector system that's here, that's going to work out real good. We're also going to do small cargo containers because we can put a lot of gun rounds into small cargo containers and they'll they'll hold up pretty good. Um, looking at that, so far that's about it. We are going to install an antenna somewhere here. I think would be a good idea. So we are going to need an antenna. Still looking here, trying to figure out what weapons, what equipment we're going to need. We're not going to do oxygen because we are going to use a projector. I know that. I'm just grabbing stuff that I know I'm going to need for this build. And then the next thing also is we're going to have some fixed weaponry as well. We need that. I do want to put two rocket pods on this thing. And let's see, what about the last bit? We are going to need some merge blocks. And that will get us started. So, first thing, let's pull off one of these. We're going to go over here, and I'm just going to drag this sucker right up here with us. We'll drop him right there. And that's going to be the first start of this. We're going to go over here. I'm going to pull out. See, here's another thing. I think we can probably work with a small oxygen tank if I can find a way to install it. Because now we have this mini oxygen tank, which is like an oxygen bottle anyway. So it's not like we need crazy stuff. We also have these new tanks and all this new stuff. Hold on. I've got somebody calling me for some reason. Yep, Grandma wanted to pick up the kid today. That's all that was. Thank God for Grandma. So let's see here. We've got this new hydrogen tank, which I kind of like more than the old hydrogen tanks. And I am wanting to do what I normally do with ships. They're about the same size. Ooh, I do like the gradual shape of that as well. We're going to use that. We're going to use this type of hydrogen tank because it looks better. Um, and looking at it, maybe not. Let's. I just realized I need. This is why you start with like 3 spaces because you will need something at some point. And this is where I'm gonna really throw myself into a maddening set of stupidity because now I want the converter. The problem with the converter is I have to almost install 2 of these idiots. Well, we're probably not going to need. I do want the guns up to the side, but I guess we won't do that. We'll leave the converter for something later. Back to our hydrogen tank. Let's pull this bad boy up. Let's slap that on there. See how that looks. Yeah, that looks actually pretty good. And we'll run some armor blocks up to it and down. And I'll figure out how to put the armor blocks in. Let's figure that out immediately. So for the front of this thing, we're going to need some heavy armor blocks. And I want to see if I have anything that comes close to that angle that we got there. That is a very interesting. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh. So let's go back to number 6 here. Let's look at this here. How can I bring that down? Let's go to 5. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do that there, and we'll do a heavy block there. And that heavy armor is just going to provide us a little bit more of a distance as we build this down. We're going to put a layer of heavy armor. We're going to really layer the armor in because there's going to be a first initial layer of heavy armor, and then we're going to have the other armor like just around the cockpit and everything give you a little bit more defensive capability. Unless someone comes down right on top, which that's just going to happen. While we're doing this, let's go ahead and push in, and we'll mirror this baby so that I can half all of my work that I'm doing right now. So now number 6. Let's see. Is there a variation? No, let's go back to 5. Juke. Like so. And then we go to 4. And like I said, dude, that's not going to work. Huh. That isn't going to work at all. Go back to 5. Oh, wait. No. Let's do 6. Let's do 6. Let's do these odd blocks here. One of these is bound to work. No. 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 There's one of these here. Not that one. Ah, it's like it's only making it that one. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to go back to 5 again. That's an issue right there. I need something that I can put in. I'm certain that 6 has a block that will fit that. Let's try this on the other side. See what that does. There may not be a block that'll work there. Hold up. That could work. How high is the other one normally? So we got one up there actually. I think it'll work. Let's see what we do here. Let's see how this goes. And then we're going to go to 4. And then that one, that one. It's going to be awfully big. It's going to be a lot of protection right there. You're not going to be able to look over the side and see very much. And we are losing a lot of visual. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see very good. You're going to be armored at all get, but you're not going to be able to see side to side very well. I don't like that. If we were to pull back and just go straight down, that would actually help. Let's go ahead and just do that. Let's delete all these. See what I'd like to have. That's the issue. I'd like something coming downward already. The problem is the only other option I've got is this stupidity. which once it comes in, hello, what texture are you using on this? Um, I'm using base texture. We've done nothing. We're on default texture right now. That's it. We haven't done anything different. And one of the reasons I do this is it's a design technique where when usually when I do stuff like this, I'll go back afterward and then I'll add textures and everything else and whatever else the thing needs. I'll color it and then I'll try to do texturing to it afterward and all that good stuff. Right now, we're just trying to figure out how to put this thing together, so to speak. And this is going to give me a sharper angle coming down. Well, it'll be about the same angle. That's the issue I'm running into with this. Okay, where is... No, that won't work. Will that work? No. Sometimes you just got to fit these pieces together. Also, it would help if I had some better light. We'll start the sun there so I can see just what the heck I'm doing. Um, hmm. Hmm. I kind of like this angle idea here. We'll go with that for a moment. See how that goes down. Let's see how this plays out. May not play out very well at all. I don't know. Yeah, it's not going to play out very well. See, I like that. I like that sloping right there. If I could incorporate that into the build, that'd be great. Unless, hold on, let me see if I can do this here. May just have to do this. Do that there, and then underneath, let's pull out number 5 here. No, no, that's not going to work. Oh, come now. I have something here that'll work. Okay, that's not going to work either. Okay, so let me think here. Let me think here. I guess we just leave that there until I can figure out a way to do it later. Do this. Oh, wow. Hold on. Let me look at the old F-302 we did. Okay, yeah. So we're doing moderately the same thing. We had way more coverage last time. So I may not be too far off. I may have just been sitting there thinking, maybe I shouldn't do that or this. Hey, Aleps, how you doing? Yeah, it's been a while. Scout Trooper, try using number 4. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I looked at it and realized actually what I did was I looked at the old one and realized I did not do what I was doing on the old one. Now I need to see how do I transition that. Okay, I think we went all the way to the bottom and then transitioned around, so that'll work. That's what we're doing today. Do that there, and then I need to figure out the nose. I believe the nose is just normal. So we're gonna, there we go. So we got that figured out. Now for number 3. Oh, wait a minute. Let's look here for a minute. Do we have the nose figured out or no? Yeah, we do. Now here comes the fun part. Let's spin. No, 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 not like that. And the way I did this, I'll put that there. Now here's where the new upgrade stuff with the thing just before. Yeah, I figured that out. So it looks like the old thing I was doing before is going to work. This is why sitting around doing weird stuff actually helps when you do stuff like that. So now it's going to work. It's going to actually blend in a lot better with it than the old F-302 did. So now it kind of angles a bit. And the F-302 is a bit of a stealth fighter anyway, so it has stealth capabilities. They talked about that. Okay. Now comes the fun part. Getting the right side here because now I have this, which is way better than the original thing I did. Because the original thing I did, we just slapped this one block in here and just kind of said, okay, we're going to pretend that that's a smooth spot. And now I don't have to do that. And with that, I think I can also create a shallowed angle of movement here. Oh, we can get an angle here. There should be one of these that just kind of blends in with the other. And it should be a straight line. Thought I had one here. I thought there was one of these that was a square. There it is. Now that's just a straight square though. It's not here. So it may be in 5, I think. I can find it. Nope. No. Let's go to 3. Okay, that's going to have to be how it works. I wanted to do a bit of an angle, but I guess we're just going to transition into this. Let's see how I did that here. Hmm. 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 How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? Because on the one hand, I can keep it straight. On the other hand, I could add, let's see what that looks like. Let's see what it looks like if I do this other thing. We're going to do a different thing here. Do that. And then we'll just add like a regular block going back through there. Nah, it's going to make it too bulky. We need it more streamlined. We'll go with the streamlined effect. Boom. And that is the heavy armor done. We can now add some light armor blocks because 9 times out of 10 where the ship is going to get hit. Nope, nope, not like that. Not like that. Not like that. 9 times out of 10 where your ship gets hit is in the front of the ship. When you're doing the dogfighting joust, going there, fighting each other. Ah, yes. So that's working out good. Now I need to figure out the angle of the wing mounts here because those, I don't think these have to be made of heavy armor. I don't think. Let me go ahead and grab a tool here. I want to see. Nope, these are light armor. Those are light armor as well. And one of the advantages of this wing design is I put a, I know somewhere here, I shoved a, I think it's here. Yeah, I shoved decoy blocks right there. So when this fighter came in and was actually doing stuff, it was actually very hard to hit because every time the enemy would see it, they would lock onto the decoys first, and then I could just turn and they would be firing off this direction here, and the main body of the vessel was just coming at them hard and fast. So we got this figured out. Let's work on this wing system that we got here. We'll do this in light armor, and we are going to have to figure out the we're going to figure out the batteries. I think I'm going to set the battery system up to where it can be upgraded to the main batteries. So we'll put a bunch of batteries on there. Imperial Scout Trooper got to go for a sec. Yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine. This is once this is done, whether I get done with it today or not, we'll be doing this again later. Probably maybe Thursday. I may do a video recording tonight just so I got Fridays done. Wednesdays is coming up. So if you guys are looking at checking out another video, I am doing a Lost Planet live stream, or not a live stream, a playthrough of Lost Planet, which is an amazing game. I want to build some of the mechs in Lost Planet. But let's look here for a moment. How far back did we go with this? So we go back to number 4 here. We're also going to upgrade these wings real good, make them look amazing. I have done improvements to wing designs after this was over with so that they look more impressive. So we're going to go 2, and then we're going to have to make 3. And like I said, it's just the main body housing of the F-302. Once we get it done, it'll be done. I am going to upgrade it to where we can put 2 Prototech batteries on this thing so that we'll be able to operate it and it'll be able to run good. We are going to put a small nuclear reactor on there and a single large ion engine. We're going to take a lot of engines off this. Um, this is probably going to look a little simpler. It'll be a little bit more survival friendly. I'm also going to chuck out this single large thruster for 2 massive heavy thrusters like on the Saber. But then when we get done, we're going to have a single ion thruster in the middle. So we'll still have we'll have even more speed like the original F-302, but we're going to have a lot more to it. It's going to be easier to manufacture. And I think we'll probably call this the F-402, maybe. That's what we'll call it. And it'll just be our personal F-302 that we use in game. We're going to eliminate a lot of things too. We're going to eliminate these thrusters here and these thrusters. We're not going to need that many ion thrusters anymore. We were trying to work with a lot of ion thrusters. It's like, yeah, more thrusters, more go. And it was like, no, lighter ship, more go. We got to make it lighter. Got to make it lighter. Make it work better. So we're gonna go back here to this, and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get that one ready to go. Okay, and if I recall, I think I just ran this one down like so. Now, the one issue with the F-302 is rolling. It doesn't roll good, but the Saber rolls good. So if we have like an F-302 and a couple Sabers, like just taking the fight to the enemy, that'll be all right. Oh, wait a minute. We were not supposed to do that. We got to stop at the point there, add 2, and then go around. That's what we'll do there. And that small engine pod on the bottom is where I'm going to put uh, 3 small hydrogen thrusters. We can just drop that thing right out and just go to town. All right, so next up, that one will be coming into play here in a minute. There, and then there, just like so, and oh yeah, there we go. That'll be the engine housing right there. That'll help us house some engines and whatnot. There we go. We'll have a nice set of engine housings right there. Yeah, she's already pretty wide, and we're going to have the guns mounted underneath here somewhere. is where a gun's going to be mounted. I'm not sure where exactly, but we're gonna mount one somewhere. We may mount 5 guns, honestly, underneath here, if that's possible. That's the thing. I don't know if it's possible to mount that many guns. So now I'm at the point I need to be. We're gonna build this back and we're connected over to here so I can get some more equipment in and I can see exactly what I've got to work with in terms of thrusters and everything else. We're gonna do that. Pull this in just nope, nope, nope. Pull that in like so. Now comes the fun part. Now, I know everybody's sitting there saying, "My God, Badger, what about the frickin' gas tank on here?" Well, here's the thing: we've used the Saber enough, and also this is also where I got this concept from. Was when I was just being we got this concept from the A-wing as well, where you had a ship with a whole lot of just straight up speed, very minimal armor. And then we went to this. This was the first ship. This is like the first main big ship, and then we've got this. And you see these smaller fighters like this just go nuts. I'm gonna go so have fun building from Leps. Hey Leps, that's fine. That's fine. And like I said, all these will be up on YouTube later. So if you guys want to come back later and take a look at this, see what I did, that's fine. So like I said, we've got all of this going. I need to figure out where my hinges are going to go. And I think the first hinge, let's go over here. Where's the hinges at? Need to put some hinges in. Because that's what's going to make this F-302 and F-302. That's what's going to make it work. We'll do this. And I'm not going to do the one hinge stuff. We're going to do that. And then I'm afraid to do this because these things are awfully heavy. It's going to give us some weight. I can promise you that much. Let me see the engines and everything on this. I still got filler right in there I got to do, which will make it look better. Let's see. How many hinges do I put on here? Got this up here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, how many of those blocks do I have on there? About that much. So then the next hinge is going to have to go right here. And then when we build the wing section out, we'll build that over there. Right now, we got to figure out where we're going to put batteries at. And I need to get 2 batteries out. Number 1, I need this battery. And number 2, we're going to need Prototech stuff. Because I want to see on Prototech scale. Now, if I recall, this battery here gives you tons of energy. Just a literal ton of it. So here we've got this battery right there. And that is going to be a 3 by 2 by 1 battery. So that's fun. That's fun right there. That is interesting. In terms of regular batteries, we're going to set that to a Prototech upgrade. And we're just going to line our batteries right here with it. We're going to put our batteries somewhere on this wing where we can access them at some point. I don't know where. I don't know where we're going to access it. We are going to have the ability to access them, and we're going to put some plates over the top just to keep them, protected. I also need to figure out how much side-to-side thrust. Now, usually about 4 is what it takes to get side-to-side thrust. So I'm going to need about 4 thrusters on each side. And it looks like I built this thing up enough to where we can do that. So let's hop over here to number 3. Okay. that there. We need to see how far back this goes. From our cockpit, one, two, three, or actually two from the cockpit. So then about, I can put two more right there. There we go. And wait, nope, I did that wrong, I think. Yeah, I did that wrong. We can't do that. Those have to go there, which means okay, we're gonna do this. Here's another issue I'm running into right now. Well, I can make this work. Two. Now, if I recall, I'm probably gonna have a hinge here. I don't think I'm gonna have anything I'm gonna want to fill up in there, so we're not gonna worry about that for now. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so that's the side-to-side thrusters. We're gonna have to figure out up and down thrust. Now, originally with this thing, I had the up I had the up thrusters here. That didn't work out. I also did something different on an original upgrade that never got saved, where I put the let me think here. I managed to put the connector up top and bottom, but considering that we have new connectors that are, smaller, I may try to put the smaller block connector on just so we can attach this thing, or we may go with the big connector. One of the advantages of the big connector is we do have 1,000 liters to drop ammunition in. The problem with the small connectors is, if I'm right, they've only got 64, which means I don't know, but I am guessing that'll, depending on how much that'll give me. Yeah, that's only going to give me about 4. And then the other issue is, let's go to number 5 here. We have one of these. And if I'm looking at this thing, we have 125. So that would mean we're going to be able to put, well, we can't even put a full 8 in there. So that's a problem we run into with storage. So more of those, we could eventually end up with about 10 or 11 of these. We also could set my thrusters in there in such a way, because these ion thrusters right here could be replaced. We could replace those ion thrusters right there, and we can replace these hydrogen thrusters, or these atmospheric thrusters down here, with about 4. And then we would have, what is that? Oh yeah, I forgot. I did this with a series of This was before warfare. I remember it was before warfare, because when they did the warfare update, that's when the hydrogen tanks started blowing up when you shot them too much, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped. We were using the F-302 a bit. Me and Chris were, when Chris was playing with me, and we stopped using the F-302 because um, these tanks actually have a lot less hydrogen. They have a lot less. Let me show you here. They have far less health. Do you see? You got 3 steel plates into that. Whereas with the large hydrogen tank, you have 30. So it takes several rounds to kill it. It takes a lot of rounds to kill this thing. So it's before it starts to blow up, you have time. If you're seeing the thing start to smoke, it's like, okay, yeah, we gotta get out of here. So yeah, that's one of them. Let's grab this here. I've got another phone call. Hang on. Yep, more phone calls, more people. Why everybody's got to call me on the live stream? Imperial Stormtroopers back. Hey man, how you doing? So we're gonna grab some thrusters here, and I like the better hydrogen thrusters. So this is gonna give us the speed we need to move side to side. Now the next part of this is gonna be the most interesting because I think now is when we're gonna need this nifty little block. So I said this before. I wanted to use, and actually, no, this will work out perfectly. That block's going to work perfectly for what I'm planning on doing. Okay. That is going to work just beautifully. Let's go on in here and we're going to add, what is it? We're going to add this block. 2 on the 3. There we go. We don't have to worry about the back thruster for anything because that's going to become, oh, what is this? This is going to become the next area where we put some more stuff down. So we now have the ability. I can do these small ones, but I'd much rather do this large one, and I'd much rather do it like this because then I can do some shaping over there and make it kind of fit in. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to add one to the bottom here. So now I can just slap these things onto ships and it'll be there. Good. What I miss? Oh, nothing much. A bunch of people called already. We've gotten most of the wing system figured out. We've got side to side thrust already built up. Because I am using less thrusters, I don't have to worry about that too much. Also, let's go ahead here. Go G. Where is the reactor supply? Let's do that here now. And we'll do the rounded warfare reactors because this will be the reactor for the ship. So we've got 3 decent sized reactors working there. And I'm also going to put in a battery here somewhere. So let's go ahead and add our main batteries. And by putting them in a cluster like this, if I ever go to Prototech, we can just upgrade that straight to Prototech batteries. So then the F-302 becomes a Prototech ship. we can put some Prototech on it and make it better. We get even more battery power. Haha, check that out. Another thing I'm probably going to do before I start flying this thing around is we're probably going to put, trying to see if we can attach a O2H2 generator to this. But now we have this little notion right here because now I can go back to this. And how many thrusters do we need going up and down? There's a question. How many thrusters do we have pushing down? Let me see how well this flies with those. Okay, she does good like that. That's 4 thrusters pushing up for the weight of what we currently got. How many do we have for this? Let's where's my thrusters? 6. They're on. All right, there we go. How many thrusters do we have pushing down? Okay, we have 4 pushing down on this thing. So if we can do 4 pushing up and down, that would really help. How close are we to the? Well, we're actually pretty close. Okay, so we're using a combination of these 2 ships, and we're trying to figure out how to make another F-302 similar to that, make it look really good. Let's see. We need 4. We have 4 slots here. Let's make this work. 3. And I'm gonna just put in, where is that connect? There it is. There we are. There we go. And now, doot, 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 doot. We have front, or we have side to side and up and down hydrogen thrust on this thing, and fairly protected, I might say. Very, very nicely protected. Now, some of you are looking at this saying, "Oh, hold up, Badger. We also have this other issue. We've got to. You could just move all these back." The problem is that's going to interfere with the other thrusters that we are inevitably going to install. So the next thruster I want to put in is going to be. Let's see if I can find it here. I completely lost my train of thought. This is what we're putting in. And I think it'd be best if we put in the old classic thruster on the back because this has the nice rounded look. Put that on there. We've got the old classic thruster going on right there, and then we're gonna have a little bit of space to put over. And I'm gonna try and use as much of the space and area that we've got to put gyroscopes and other stuff in there where it need to be. We've got forward thrusters. We've got reverse thrusters. We now just need. Oh no, we need reverse thrusters. That's what we're gonna need. And hopefully I can get this done pretty quick. But let's see what the distance here is. Oh, I put some distance on those. So about 2 blocks over from the 3. And then we'll start having our others. So we've got 1. We need to go over 1 more, and that should give me the. Okay, I may have to move the batteries a bit. And that'll be the only real problem here. Unless I connect them some other way. Let's put the batteries back just in case. We'll see how that works. But for now, just to make everything look good. Where is the block? Okay. Let's go over here. And then I want to see these hydrogen engines. I want to see how large the big ones are. Okay, we've got these. That almost reaches. And we got these. Holy crap. That's exactly the distance we're going to need them to be. Because the main thruster should be a little bit further. I don't know. I like that one thruster because it was round, but let's go and see how this looks. Tell me what y'all think here. Thruster 2. Ion thruster 3, or ion thruster 1. So let me go through those again. Option A, B, C. Let me go back to B here. I need to flip that over. There we go. So we got let's do this again. A, give y'all a look at that. B or C. Tell me which one y'all think would be good. I'm going to read a question out here. 3 looks good. Imperial Scout Trooper saying 3. 3 is nice. Question: have you ever thought / tried to make a fully modular ship with interchangeable parts? That would require, I tell you what, that would be an interesting build. But it depends on what you're talking about, like interchangeable and modularity. B or C? So B looks good. C also does look good. I'm kind of wanting to go with the old thruster. See, I like this one till I saw how big the thruster cones on the other side is, and I'm like, oh boy, that's not going to work at all. Uh, like I said, it depends on what you're talking about, like modular. Like if you're talking about removing stuff and equipment pieces, that would require. It depends on what you mean by modular, because like I said, if you're talking about removing certain pieces from the ship, some things you could probably do it with things that were not that did not require um, tubing or piping. I guess that what we would do. You know what? I'm liking C's looking better. I can make C work. So that we have this nice bright blue engine coming off there. And wait a minute. Why did that not take? We have an engine here. Why did that not get on? Okay, it's working. All right. What we got to do here? This might create a slightly shorter F-302. I'm not sure. I may have to add this a little bit further forward. That might be a good place to put the batteries, though. And then we could, yeah, that'd be a good idea. Because it's a 3x3, we could just pull this back a bit more, get a little more length off of it, and then slap two of the batteries, because the batteries are the same size, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Protec batteries are the same size. We just slap two of those back there and just have the batteries set up back there and be done with it. Okay, so Imperial Stormtrooper here came, or Scout Trooper came up with a great, come up with something here. Think like the wings that are there already, but you can replace them if they get damaged, or for improvements like the Prototech. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, you kind of have to do that with Prototech anyway because you can't. You're not going to be able to build it unless you get stuff. Like I said, being able to put a Prototech battery in here, that's going to require. Yeah, we can't put that there because I'm glad you said that because now I realize I can't put the Prototech battery there. The batteries are going to have to be over here, and we're going to need merge blocks to be able to install them if we intend to install them or build them. And looking at this, we need Prototech capacitors, circuitry, and Prototech frame and panels to build a battery this size. I think this thing comes with like a 1 megawatt power supply, so that's the thing. Let me see, let me see, let me see. How are we gonna make this work? Mm. Another thing I need, I'm also gonna need some gyroscopes. Where's the gyroscopes at? I'll have to add those in. All right, we have 4 gyroscopes. I don't know if that's gonna be enough to get it off the ground and get it working. Look at this. Let me look over here. Gyroscopes are actually pretty tough. I could put one more right there, and I'd have 6 gyroscopes to get this thing to move around. Let's see how difficult that is. Okay, yeah, we've got some movement, but we got to see what that does when we're going to see how that works when we add the other stuff. Imperial Scout Trooper, you're welcome. I basically picture how actually vehicles get made. I tell you what would be far better And this is just what I'm saying. If you were to build, there's a build right there. Ooh, you may have done something. You may have gotten something started here because I just got thinking about it. One of the things you could do with the building is build a kind of multi-purpose ship that could have a different mission pod. So you could have a pod iteration crunchy, I think crunchy, I think. I'm not sure. Hola, hola to you too, man. I can't the font is weird on that last word on your deal. I can't I'm saying it's crunchy, but yeah, hold up a minute. Yeah, unfortunately, that was just that little pause right there was just the phone call. I'm gonna have to go back to work, unfortunately. I may try to live stream tonight and let y'all guys see continuations of this, but it is becoming F-302 like, though I do think we are, well, I'd say we are slightly shorter than the original F-302. I may do some modifications to make it a little bit longer, a little more effective. I'll have to look at the size comparisons and figure out how we're going to increase the size of it a bit. May have to push that main ion thruster out just a little bit more to get it to work. But either way, it'll be a faster version of the F-302, and I'll have to do some wing modifications and everything to it that'll make it all work. But yeah, like I was saying, you'd probably be better off. Uh, that was an idea I had. I'm having trouble thinking of the shape of the ship. Um, I think it looks pretty cool. It's not that it's not cool, man. Okay, iteration. It's not that it's not cool. It is cool. It's just I'm sitting here looking at it like, okay, wait a minute, because I'm sitting here thinking, there's like 5 or 6 words that could mean. I don't know what they are. It's not you. Trust me. I had a horrible American education, so like being able to work through other stuff is not work through words is not my strong suit. So what I'm thinking is back to Imperial Scouts thing, you would probably have to you probably almost have to do a system where you have a smaller vessel. If you've ever seen Gundam Seed and the Meteor system that Gundam Seed works with, where I'm gonna just for the moment, while I say this, I'm gonna add a temporary H2O2 generator. That's not an H2O2 generator, that's an assembler. What am I doing? Down here with this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Do that. The In Gundam Seed, they had a system called the Meteor that as you the Gundams could get into it, like Strike Freedom and Justice would jump in and they'd lock into the back of it. So what you would need is probably a very basic parasite unit like this, something more compact than this would be. I mean, super compact with just minimal maneuvering thrusters that you could operate with, and then just have a series of horseshoe looking things that you could back it into, connect it with. Like you could have a system set up to where you'd have two large grinders or um, mining utensils. So you could have a miner ship and then you could connect it to a system, disconnect this thing from it, fly over to a new deal and hook yourself up to a like a weapons platform or something to that effect, or a grinder or an assembly system similar to the grinder system, but an assembly system. And you just have to work back and forth doing that. I do not know how that would work. I think with the new connector system. So let me pull this up here so I can show you what I'm talking about. So what you would have to do, let's do this. We'll just throw this thing out. My thing is about to like bust. I'm about to lose it. So say you had that, you can do one of these. Oh, never mind. I just sent that thing flying off into nothing. Sorry, come back here. Okay, let's not ram into this thing. And let's see if I can show it here on with some light. But here's what we'll do. You have this, and we'll sneak up very nice and slowly on this. And what we'll do is, what you could do is you could have this small terminal here, and then do micro merge blocks, and there you go. And then you could hook that system in, connect your small connectors. You could then share the hydrogen if you do it with hydrogen, if you or you can share oxygen with the unit. And then this system here can connect to whatever you want to connect to. And you could run small hydrogen tanks to this that wouldn't have to be very big. Um, let's see here. Do that. And you could run these one hydrogen tanks. I wish we had like better, smaller hydrogen tanks. We've got these psychos here. You have like a set of hydrogen tanks, small ones set up, and then have basically whatever ship you wanted, whatever uh, install thing you wanted. We're just doing that. We're not connecting anything up. We're just doing that just to show. Do all that, and then just have you a series of small. Like one of the things that I do with my stuff is I'll put one of those in there, and then you just surround it on all sides, or do like a retro thruster thing there, and then just have another retro thruster around here somewhere run off, and then just set it up to where this thing can slip on in, attach. You can then turn off these thrusters, or just do like a grid of ion thrusters and a couple batteries would do it. This thing can just hook right into whatever you're working on, and then you can pull off this little parasite unit, and it just once you latch on the main housing, that's your main unit, and then you can work with that. It would work. But unfortunately, everybody, I hate to say this, I do not have the time to keep doing this today because unfortunately, work is calling, and I really despise going to work. It is not that I want to leave you guys, it's that I have to. Otherwise, I can't pay bills. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. We are going to continue this probably tonight at around 10 o'clock. Hopefully, I can continue this. I don't know if that's going to be possible. But it will be sometime between 10 and 12 tonight. We'll do more of this thing. And if possible, we'll do more of it Wednesday. We'll do another live stream Wednesday and work on this. And you guys can see more of this stuff getting done. But until then, I am Badger Wild saying stay safe, everybody. Stay frosty out there. And again, thank you all for being in the live stream today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to also look out for Wednesday afternoon. There will be a playthrough coming in on Lost Planet, and you guys can check that out because I plan on getting through that game at some point. Just throwing up some extra content because some people have been on the channel and they go, "Hey, do you play other games?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I just never had an excuse to do it on the channel before." So we're gonna throw up some other games on here, check out some other stuff, and hopefully give you guys some better, more entertainment, as we can say. Anyway, Stay frosty, everybody. I'm Badger Wild, signing out.